Hello. In case you haven't noticed, I just recently hit 3,000 subscribers. And just like the last milestone, I'm going to celebrate by yapping about something. This time, the topic was chosen by a vote on my new Discord server, which you can join from the link in the description if you feel so inclined. I'm sure some percentage of you are curious to see a follow-up from me on my skill issue video, and don't you worry, I'll get around to it. But not today. Today, we're going to talk about mix packs. There's a lot of discourse around mix packs, especially over the last few months as it seems to be on the rise. If you've watched some of my other videos, you've seen mix packs in them before, and if you've played the game at all, you've definitely encountered mix packs before. Hell, statistically some of you have participated in mix packs, but I'm not here to judge you. This time. I've seen a lot of suggestions for how to deal with mix packs in the aisle over the years, and I'm here to tell you that none of your ideas are going to work. At least not the way you want them to. There's really only one solution to the mix packing problem, but before I get to what that is, we need to dial it back a bit and explain why players mix pack in the first place. Well, actually, we need to dial it back a little further than that and explain what mix packing is first. There are a few terms that get thrown around on this topic that you may have heard, such as mixed diet and mixed herd. While mix pack is often used as a general catch-all term for the phenomenon of different species working together to break the game, more specific words for more specific contexts do come up from time to time. While it may seem that mix packs, mixed herds, and mixed diets may all be distinct enough to require different solutions, the fortunate truth is that they will all be handled to the same effect. Therefore, when I say mix pack from here on out, I'll be referring to it in the general sense and not the specific connotation. With that out of the way, why do people mix pack? There are 1,000 reasons why players will come together, and I can't be asked to list them alphabetically. But thankfully, these myriad motivations can all be boiled down to two distinct types of mix packs. There are mix packs of opportunity and premeditated mix packs. The primary difference between these two are where the mix pack is formed. A mix pack of opportunity forms in-game, when players meet and find mutual benefit to mix packing in some fashion. Whether it starts as a cuddle party or simply an alliance to take down prey or threats, the point is that the mix pack wasn't planned. A premeditated mix pack, on the other hand, is formed outside of the game. These are the players that logged in with the intent to abuse the game's mechanics, the players that organized it in a Discord call or something similar. A simple enough distinction, yeah? So a lot of the discussion on this topic usually revolves around implementing some sort of in-game mechanic to combat mix packs. But these always devolve into some labyrinthian balancing act of handicapping mix packers in some meaningful way, while minimizing the ability of bad actors to weaponize the mechanic against innocent players. And while the intentions of these ideas are pure, they simply are not going to hold up in practice. Premeditated mix packs will be almost wholly unaffected by mechanical disincentives to begin with, as they had already decided they were going to mix pack in the first place. And while I believe the most common type of mix packs are the mix packs of opportunity, and those will be affected more heavily by in-game mechanics, the problem is entirely that having a meaningful severity is going to also negatively affect innocent players. The cons completely outweigh the pros in this way. At this point you may be asking your screen, so Oingo, what's your master plan to tackle mix packing if you think everyone else has it wrong? Well, first of all, it's Mr. Oingo to you. And to answer your question, the only meaningful solution to significantly reducing mix packs without allowing trolls to grief other players is to simply increase food scarcity across the board. That's right, it really is that simple. Well, almost. And I'll explain that almost in a bit, don't you worry. The truth of the game right now is that food for carnivores and herbivores is plainly abundant and has been for a very long time. Carnivores in this game can entirely grow and sustain themselves on AI and juveniles, both of which have an infinite supply and entirely predictable spawns. This might start sounding a little similar to my skill issue video, but you genuinely have to make serious mistakes to even risk starvation as a carnivore. And herbivores? They actually can't starve. It's not only a complete non-issue, but with the game breaking patrol zones, there is no reason for herbivores to even take the slightest risk to begin with. They are rewarded with infinite food on demand wherever they want. The only price they pay is the tedium of eating fruit trees one bite at a time. That's it. Simply put, the entire ecosystem has its very survival propped up by a massive safety net. It takes no effort to meet their needs, and once the survival aspect of the game is removed, there's very little reason not to start playing the game like it's Dinosaur Fortnite. Having a meaningful food scarcity, not whatever the lowest common denominator thinks of food scarcity, puts survival back on the table. The chance of actually starving to death forces players to make considerations they otherwise wouldn't have to. As a Cerrado, it's a pretty easy choice to work with raptors to secure future meals when you meet them with a full stomach. But if that tummy is rumbling when you find them? Well, now you have to consider that choosing the mix pack means passing up on food now, and you need food now. Potential mix pack allies become potential meals. Herbivores will face a similar struggle if they ever face the threat of starvation. Sharing plants in a migration zone is easy when you're full. But when you're a hungry Tenno and you see a small Diablo setting upon the only cashew tree in the whole zone, it suddenly gets a lot harder to work together with them. Mix packs of opportunity won't just fold, they'll never form in the first place. Perhaps players will continue to tolerate juveniles and other small creatures that might not meaningfully affect how much food they can get, but the days of murderous cuddle parties dominating entire regions of the map will be a thing of the past. Astute viewers might have noticed something by now. This solution, while supremely effective, just like every other good idea I always have because I only have good ideas, didn't mention anything about premeditated mix packs. Naturally, adding meaningful food scarcity will affect premeditated mix packs, just like mix packs of opportunity. But the problem is that a significant portion of these players will not be deterred. It might even just be a minority. But even if it's just a tiny fraction of deliberate mix packers, they will still remain. You see, soft solutions like mine and like game mechanic ideas cannot overcome human stubbornness. So when I said it really is that simple, well, almost. This is what I was referring to. Handling illogical player behavior is outside the realm of soft solutions. So if we want to eliminate premeditated mix packs, we need to use the hard solution, active moderation. Active moderation of servers is the only weapon that can be wielded here, but it comes with a risk. Many community servers have active moderation, and it generally works well, or at least well enough. It's a fantastic solution for community servers who otherwise have no control over any anti-mix packing features like the game's developers do. And while it works well for community servers, it runs the risk of being actively detrimental to official servers. There are lots of official servers, and appropriately staffing them all with active moderators not only would be difficult, but would amass a huge moderation team. The bureaucracy will get bogged down fast, but the real killer is that it would only take one bad moderator making one bad decision to incur a serious cost to the developers. Moderation controversy will affect the game financially, and having enough moderators to provide active moderation multiplies the risk of these events exponentially. Stamping out the last fraction of mixpackers by force just isn't worth the risk of having an army of unpaid janitors that can nuke your bottom line at any moment. And the developers are already aware of this problem, as evidenced by the fact that they have so far chosen to keep a small moderation team. And so, we go back to my solution: meaningful food scarcity. Honestly, this is actually so incredibly easy to produce as well. It doesn't take rocket science. In fact, I can use my new and improved Oingo AI to explain. Actually, I just got a text from my lawyer. I've received a cease and desist letter from OpenAI. Apparently they have a patent for fake AI that are actually just a dude on a computer, and are threatening legal action if I don't shut down Oingo AI. Unfortunately, I spent all my money on this lawyer's retainer fee, so I can't afford to actually pay my lawyer to go to court, so no voice changer skip for this video. Anyways, food scarcity can be created for carnivores by simply removing AI, or at the very least dialing them back very significantly. Being forced to actually hunt or scavenge for food should do wonders for reducing mix packs, something that we actually got to see on official servers for a moment in time when the no AI servers first launched and had healthy populations. Herbivores have a fairly simple solution too. Remove patrol zones entirely. That's it. Just doing the bare minimum and removing patrol zones will close the tap on their infinite safe diets. Of course, tweaking food values of diet plants and their quantity and distribution among migration zones will also improve the game even outside of the mix pack problem, so might as well sprinkle some of that in there too. Reducing how many diet plants spawn in a migration, but increasing how much food each one gives, will make eating far less tedious for herbivores and make food possession a far more prevalent concept for when multiple herds occupy the same space. Hard to cooperate when you can't communicate with each other, both sides are hungry, and there's only so many plants available to eat. Of course, they would still run no actual risk of starvation as long as grazing remains in the game, so I would love to see grazing be reduced to atoms, at least for the larger species. But even in the most likely case where grazing remains untouched, the competition for diets may still end up a suitable substitute for the risk of starvation. Regardless of how effective or ineffective my solution to mix packing is, this video would really just ultimately be me shouting into the void like every other discussion on this topic, if not for one thing. You. Yes, that's right, you specifically. You probably forgot by now, but the goal of this video wasn't to show off how super smart I am, but rather to celebrate reaching 3,000 subscribers. I couldn't have done it without you. You giving me some of the time from your day means a lot to me, and I'm thankful for your viewership. I make videos for fun, and they wouldn't be as fun if it wasn't for you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and even if you didn't, I also hope to see you again soon, perhaps even at another milestone worth celebrating in the future. Thanks for watching, and let me know how smart I am in the comments. Until next time.